Hi guys, today we are going to talk about the language JavaScript and its features, how it works. Okay, in this video we're going to talk about JavaScript variables and data types, but I will explain in detail how JavaScript works, how you declare variable, how you use variable, how you use data types and all. First, let's know about the language itself. So JavaScript is a versatile language which widely used to make web pages more interactive. It used to create animation for form validation. Also used to create complex web structures like maps. It also used in game development. It's also used in server-side rendering with the help of Node.js. So I will explain you first how it you get used in the web development process, how it works with the web pages. Okay, so I'm going to open a new incognito window. It is already open here, and at the right hand side you will see the three dots. You can click here, you can come to more tools, and there is an option for developer tools. And here's a shortcut as well for Windows: Control Shift plus I. You can see this window. It has couple of tabs. First is elements, which show an HTML structure and all the elements. Second is console. So we want this window to be open. I'm closing it now. As I showed you from three dots, you can go to more tools and then developer tool, or there is a shortcut on Windows. It's F12, and you will see a same window popped up. In the console, there is a reserve keyword, alert, and it's a JavaScript reserve keyword, alert, open parenthesis. If you open it, you already see it shows the argument that we supposed to use, a parameter message. Okay, and it's a string, by the way. So with the help of double quotes, I'm writing here, hi there, oh, comma, there, and I'm closing it with the double quotes because I opened it with the double quotes. That's the reason I'm closing it with the double quotes. So that shows you should be consistent with the coding style you use. And I close the parenthesis, and to end this line, I have to use semicolon here, and I enter. I hit enter now. You will see this pop up. This is a built-in alert. You could say a built-in function provided by the browser API. And this browser API, the Chrome, it runs on V8 engine, which parse your JavaScript code, and you will see you are seeing the result now here. Okay, hit OK. You could declare a few variables here as well, like let name be some name of your choice within the double quotes, or you could use the single quotes, whatever you want. Just whatever you use, stick to the that style. So I will close it with double quotes, and to end the line there's a semicolon. So here I declared a variable with the reserve keyword let, and there is a name of the variable that I chose, and there is an is equal to sign to assign a value to the variable, and I hit enter. If I want to see the value of this variable, I have to type the name as it is, semicolon, and I will hit enter, and I will see the value that I have stored in this variable name. By the way, JavaScript, it's case sensitive. So you have declared the variable name all in small letters. If you use in caps like this, you will see an error that uncaught reference error, name is not defined, because we defined it with all small caps, and now we are using all small letters, and now we are using all capital letters, so it's different from this. So it shows that JavaScript is case sensitive. Here we saw how we use codes in the browser. Now we're going to see how we use code in the Visual Studio Code. In the IDE that I'm going to use. You can use any favorite ID of your choice. ID is more popular. That's the reason I'm using it. You could go to the website and download it. It's very simple to download and use it. So I'm going to show you some features of the ID. Then we can start discussing about it. So here are some options: file, edit, selection, view. With the help of the file tab, you can open a folder, open a file, and you can also create a new file. Okay, there are shortcuts as well, which is mentioned here at the right side. And this is File Explorer. Here are the files which you create. You can create a new file with this button here. You can create a new folder. You can refresh it. This is for collapse the folder. Okay. So inside here we have an HTML file. Because here if you see it's dot HTML extension. Here's the HTML file. There's some basic CSS that I have used. Nothing fancy. So here, so now we are going to see how we add the script in this very HTML body. Okay, so this is the HTML body, this is the start tag, this is the end tag, and we could use the script here at the bottom as I'm writing it down. Self closing tag is not allowed for the script, so you will write the script in between the opening and closing tags. And there is a built-in function that we used, alert. Okay, and there is a message, hello world. Okay, this is the message I want to show in an alert. I will end this line with the semicolon. I'm saving it now, and I will open this in Explorer. There's an option. If you right click, reveal in file explorer. Here you will copy the path because we are going to the incognito mode. Here you paste it, and backslash and the name of the file that you would like to open, which is index.html. This file name comes from here. Here's the index.html file. Okay, here's your file, and here you already embedded this. So you will, if you refresh it, you will see an alert, hello world, which is we declared to this inbuilt function. We passed on an argument, a string, and it shows this information. This is how you embed script at the end of the body. I'm going to comment it now. Here's how you comment in HTML. I will show you in JavaScript how you use comment. Here you have option in edit, toggle line comment, control plus backslash. Okay, and to uncomment it, you will use the same option, control backslash. Okay. So now we're going to see how we can um, attach an external JavaScript file. Okay, this is an HTML file .html. This is .js, which is a JavaScript extension. Like if you see a PDF file that ends with .pdf, so JavaScript file ends with .js. Okay, this is the file. There is some auto completion information. So now I'm going to write the same function that we've been using, inbuilt function. Hi there, and we'll end it with a semicolon as always. And we see here, we go here. We have saved this. We have saved this file. We go here. We refresh it, and nothing happens. We don't see any alert. Even if we added this alert here, we don't see it here because in the HTML file we commented it out and we have not added any external JavaScript file. So our IDE or this VS Code does or Chrome browser does not scan all the files in the folder automatically. That would be a pretty bad behavior. We have to specify the file which it should use. Okay, so we'll use the script tag again, like this, opening and closing script tag. Self-closing tag like this one is not supported. If you see, my ID is already complaining, it's in red. So between the opening and closing, I will not write down script here. Instead of that, what I will do is I will specify a pointer, just like how we specify pointers in the to the CSS file. This is how we do it, but with a special keyword, that is source. SRC is the shortcut. Okay, my ID already shows auto completion message here. This attribute specifies the URI of an external script. Okay, so the external script, which is a JavaScript file, this can be used as an alternative to the embedding a script directly to within a document. So instead of embedding a script within a document, we could specify an external pointer, so to say. So like this, um, we have our JavaScript file in the same directory where we have .html file. So we could use dot backslash, and there is a name app.js. You could use down arrow key and select it. I'm going to enter it manually just for now, app.js. Okay. One more important thing that I would like to tell you guys is whenever you open the browser and whenever this file get passed in the browser, it will get passed from top to bottom, and JavaScript also get parsed from top to bottom. So it will load all this information, and browser will load this information as well. Okay, so when it gets to this line, the script kind of breaks. Okay, and it stop loading this information. So you will see a block kind of thing in the UI, which is a pretty bad experience for the user of the website. So it is always advised to use a keyword differ. Okay, and it shows this Boolean attribute is set to indicate to a browser that the script is meant to be executed after the document has been passed, but before firing DOM content loaded. So basically, it says um, that do not execute the script right away. Instead of it, load this simultaneously with the HTML document, and when all entire HTML document gets um, loaded, then this will be executed. Okay, so I explain in detail this thing. So we could go to this file, control each other short, control and click, control plus click. Okay, we'll go to the app where we added this function. Now we could see an alert, I believe. Yes, hi there. Okay, so we are moving ahead from this built-in function to the variables and data types that we are going to discuss in this video in great detail. So let's move on. Variables. So we are going to discuss variables, why we use it, how we use it, when we use it. Okay, so variables are not specific to the language JavaScript. You see any programming language out there, all the languages have this thing, variables. Okay, these are like data containers which hold data in form of a variable. Okay, and you could use it as often as you want. The question is why we use it. Okay, and it's pretty simple. If you see, if you don't use the concept variable and you have a program in which you have codes for 1,000 lines. Okay, just assume you have codes for 1,000 lines, and at least 10, 15, or 20 times you have used hard coded values like any string of your choice, any number, anything which is hard coded, and the same value, that same string, same letter, same word, you have used at least 20 times in your script. So when you plan to change or reassign a new value, to that hard coded thing, then you have to change it 20 different times at 20 different places. You have to find it. You have to kind of keep a track of it. Okay. So to avoid this confusion, and there are variables. Okay. It works like a data container. So let's see how we declare it. We declare it with three words: let, const, and var. Okay. As per the ES6, we use let and const and not the var. This is for old browsers. You will see in many old website the use of var, but the modern browsers they supports this let and const and var as well. So ES6 says we should use let and const. Okay. So we'll discuss all of it. Let's start with the let keyword. Okay. And it's a reserve keyword as well. Whenever I say reserve keyword, please focus, because there are several reserve keyword that you should know, and there are some rules to declare variables, how we declare variables and on. We're going to discuss this. So there's first reserve keyword, which is let. um, there is a name of the variable of your choice. Let username. Now what you did, you introduce a new variable name to this script. Okay, this is something new that you have introduced. Let username. Okay, and there is another reserve keyword which we're going to use a lot, which is console dot log. Okay, this will used to log the values to the console here. Okay, you could use it with the help of node as well here, but as we have not discussed anything about the node, so we'll see the values here most often. Okay, so here's the name of the variable with the reserve keyword let. You have introduced this variable. Now you could log it. Okay, you have introduced it. You have not assigned any value with the help of is equal to keyword. Okay, let's see what we see. We're gonna see a data type which is called undefined. This is also kind of data type. Okay, um, so you have introduced this, but you never defined, never assigned any value. So that's the reason it shows undefined. Very simple. Now we're going to assign a value here, and we're going to see. Okay, so here is the username I gave, Alan. You could give any name of your choice here, and you end this line with a semicolon, and this one as well. It's not must, but it's a good practice. Okay, let username be of your choice, whatever you give it. You could, this is a string, you could use single quote or double quote. Make sure you be consistent with the style that you use. If you start with a single quote, end with a single quote. Okay, Alan, and there is this, and you're going to log this information. And let's see, it's not shows undefined now, it's showing whatever value you have assigned it. Okay, this is a one way to assign a value. So when we use let in your script, if you're planning to ever reassign a new value to this variable username, then you use let keyword. So you could assign a new value now. When you assign a new value, you don't have to use let again. Let you use at the very first time, at very beginning, when you introduce this variable to the script. So user name, and now you could change it, make it Michael with the single quotes. And now let's see, it's supposed to print Michael, but let's see. Yep, because you have reassigned it. So this gets voided. This garbage collection. This is old value. This is voided, and you assign a new value. Okay, this is automatically voided. Okay, so that's the use of the let. If you ever planning to change or reassign, the most appropriate word is reassign, not the change. If you want to reassign a new value to the variable, you use let. Okay, so when we use const, let's say const user ID. By the way, we saw one data type, which is a string. Okay, it not necessarily be a single word. It could be an entire sentence, an entire paragraph. It could be anything. That is called string. Okay, sequence of characters in double quote, single quote. That's a string. Okay, now we're going to talk about numbers as well with the help of the reserve keyword const. Okay, const user ID, and I'm going to assign a new value because it will not allow me to just introduce the variable and then assign it again. While we use the word const, it's not allowed. Okay, so with is equal to sign, I have to give a value to it. So I will give you value 1101. Okay, and let's print it user ID now. Okay, and if you see 1101. So we talked about the this thing string numbers. How will be sure? Okay, there is another reserve keyword. Okay, so we saw let const console log. There is another reserve keyword. By the way, if you want to print this line again down to the another line, you could use the shortcut Shift Alt and down arrow. Okay, Shift Alt and down arrow. Here I use username. Okay, so you wanna know the data type of this and data type of this as well. How you will know it? There's an operator type of space, type of and space. Um, there's a typo error, I believe. Okay, type of user ID, type of username. Okay, all small letters, type of um no capital letter here. Type of user ID, type of username, and let's see. So first one is number, the another one is string. First one it's a number, and the another one which is username it's a string. Okay, this is how you know the type data type of the variable. This is how you could check it. You could see it with your eyes as well, but still, if you wanna render some content conditionally, depends on the type of the data, you could use this. Okay, these are some reserved keywords which has a specific meaning, which has a specific purpose. So when you write your code and when you build your logic, you had to tweak your code based on the you know some conditions where you could use these operators and this reserve keyword. So to know about them, it's good to know about them. Okay, now now we are going to talk about hoisting. This is basically a default behavior that of JavaScript. Okay. So with the help of variable, you used username. Now like this, you send any value. You have not declared it nothing. On the second line, you logged it to the console with the help of this username. Okay. And at the bottom, now you declared it username. So with the var keyword, this is allowed. Okay, and you will be shocked. As I said already, JavaScript get passed from top to bottom. First we assigned a value, then we logged it, then at the end we are going to declare it, and let's see how it works. It works perfectly fine. This is called variable hoisting. It takes this declaration to the top until it hits to the assignment. Now it finds a value here. It's gonna take this value, register it, and then it gets logged. This is called variable hoisting. Okay. If you assign a value below it, you like username, some another value like Matthew, and end it with a semicolon. And if you refresh it, you will see Matthew. So this declaration, it takes to the top here, and when it hits to the variable which is assigned first, it registers this value. It gets logged this value. Okay, this is called variable hoisting. That's one topic we discussed. Keep in mind. Um, so now we are going to talk about naming convention. Okay. So as I discussed, like username, whatever name you're giving it, okay, like this, Jessica, okay, and ends with a semicolon. Here you gave a name. So naming convention, how you use the variable name. There are some set rules that we should follow. First one I see here, if you can observe carefully, first character of the next word is in caps, like this, or let user ID. If you see, user is one word, ID start the another word. So first character of the word is in caps. This kind of style is called camel case, which is allowed in the JavaScript. There is another case which is like this. This is called snake case. You connect two words with the underscore. This is called snake case. This is also allowed in JavaScript to declare variables, but this is not recommended. Other programming language like Python use the snake case, but this is not recommended. Allowed, valid, but not recommended. Okay, this is just to like camel case. We're not going to erase anything from now, so it will be here only for reference. User ID. This kind of style is called a snake case. Okay, I will write it differently. Snake case. Um, one more style is user number 5. So this is also allowed. Numbers at the end is allowed. Okay. Number at the beginning is not allowed. We try to use it, but I know it's not allowed. My ID started complaining. Okay. But we still use it. Is a user. So my ID started complaining. We'll hover it. What it says. Let's see. An identifier keyword cannot be immediately follow a numeric literal. So basically, it says this is not allowed. Variable declaration not allowed at this location. Okay. So numbers at the start is not allowed. So what is started? What characters are allowed at the start of the variables? So let's discuss that. This is not allowed, by the way. The numbers at the start are not allowed. Okay. So what is at the start allowed? Dollar sign is allowed. Is admin true? Okay. This data type is called Boolean. It could either be true or false. It cannot be um, both at the same time. That would be very wrong if it is both at the same time. So it could be one of anything, true or false. Sorry, one of two things, true or false. Okay. And dollar sign is allowed. Let underscore, oh, space, underscore user is equal to any name of your choice, Chris, and with the semicolon. This is also allowed underscore. Okay, so these are some allowed style styles of name and naming conventions that I um just just showed you. No special characters are allowed in between. So I'm not going to discuss what what kind of naming convention is not allowed. When you use the in the ID, it auto completion already shows what kind of variables are not allowed. I showed you some allowed naming conventions. Okay, so we discussed the reserve keyword, let, const, and naming convention. Now we are going to discuss a few more default behavior of the JavaScript language. But before we discuss more in detail, we're going to talk about um, basic structure of a function. Okay, what are functions? What is the basic structure of a function? So functions are not specific to the JavaScript as well. As we see, variables are there in all the programming languages. There are functions in all the programming languages. Almost all the programming language use functions. Okay, and how it is used. So it is used with another reserve keyword, which is function itself. Function. Okay, and then you give name of the function, like add. I want to add two numbers. So add. That name is sufficient. Okay. Parenthesis and then curly braces. This completes a function. Within this curly braces, it is um, body of the function. So whatever code you write here, it get executed when you invoke this function. Okay, I will explain in detail now. Okay, as this name is sufficient, but I'm going to write it in detail. So add two numbers, which shows what it function does. So it's clear now that it add to different numbers. Okay, you start with the reserve keyword function. You give a name, a suitable name of your choice, and within this opening and closing brackets, here you can pass arguments. Okay, it it calls parameters. Okay, so it's gonna add two numbers. So first one I will give is num1 and num2. This is how you pass it. You don't have to use let, const, any keyword in front of this. So this one and this one, you see, num is declared, but its value never read. Also, it's already we declared this. Okay, we gave two different values, and we're gonna add these two numbers here. Okay, in the function. So first discuss the use of the function, then we'll declare it. Okay, this is an on-demand code. Okay, there are some inbuilt function in JavaScript, but this is custom kind of function that you're making yourself. Okay, so you declare it once and you could use this function as often as you want throughout your script, whenever you want it. Okay, that's the flexibility this language gives. So you define a function here, you could use it anywhere in your script. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll define a variable here and we'll give what we'll do is we add two numbers. Okay, so this num1 and num2 we added here and we introduced a new variable result and we assigned a value of addition up to this numbers and we log it here console.log, so we don't have to return it. Okay, I will talk about the return statement as well. So here we declared the result, we added two numbers, we logged it. Okay, we saved it, we go to this and we refresh it and we refresh it again and we don't see any information. Let's discuss why. Okay, so we declared this function here and we added two numbers. We stored the result in a brand new variable called result. We logged the result on the console. So this is the function. Okay, but it won't get executed by itself. JavaScript just register this function. It won't get executed by itself. We have to invoke this function. First thing first, we have to invoke this function. Then we have to provide argument parameters These are, these are values. These are parameters. Okay. We have to provide arguments. We have to provide parameters to these arguments. So here add to numbers like this, and with the parenthesis we could invoke this function like this, add to numbers like this, but it won't get executed because got it missing the parameters here. So we'll have to provide um, parameters here. So let's see, 25 and 10. You don't have to use plus sign. You just use these two values here, add two numbers, and you have invoked this function. Now see what happens. We'll see 35 result of addition of these two numbers you see here. Okay. So this is how you define a function in general. This is how you invoke a function. Okay. Reason for you to show this, for me to show you this function is that we are going to talk about variable shadowing. There is another default behavior. Okay. So here is a variable name result, which is declared with the help of const. Okay. Here I'm using one more variable name result with the 50, number 50, and I'm going to log this dot log result. Okay. And just to be clear, what I will do is I will cut this function and I will paste it here on the top. Okay. And let's see this result which gets console logged in this result. Is it different? Is it same? What is it? Let's see. So first one gets logged as 50, which is I believe a result of this. And then as we invoke this function after it, it will give us 35. Okay. It's quite confusing because we are using two different this um we are using with the numbers and everything. But I will show you one more example which clear out these things. Okay. We just comment it out this one. We're going to comment it out this one. And now we are going to define a new function. Okay. To show you a variable shadowing. Okay. Here. So here I'm going to declare a new variable called um, user clicks per second, whatever name you could give, 325, something like that. Okay. So it's a data coming from some web server, user clicks per second 325, and there is another function. So you know how to declare a function now. You will use the reserve keyword function, name of your choice, user click count or something like that, opening, closing parenthesis. There is there are curly braces, and between this curly braces you will use the function body. So you will use the same name here to see the example of variable shadowing. Okay. Console.log user click per second, or the user click counter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it side by side. I'm going to console log this variable, which is same here, and with a semicolon. I'm going to invoke this function as well. So you should see the result. I'm not providing any arguments here because there are no parameters mentioned here. So I don't have to. Okay. Closing with the semicolon and see what happens. Do, 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 do. So first it gets printed 325. Okay. No, 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 don't don't log the function, log this variable. Okay, what we did is we logged this function, which logged the entire function definition, which we do not want. We just wanted to check if this user click per second and this user click per second had different values or not. Okay, see, so you will see 325, which is here. It is saved. uh we shorten this clicks, and we use this clicks, clicks. Okay, and clicks. And if you see the same result, 325, which is this, which is logged here, and in the function it is 500. That's the reason it gets logged here. So these are two different values, even with the same name. And as told you earlier, assignment to the constant is not allowed. If you reassign it a different value, it is not allowed. But here it allowing in inside the function, and because it's not the same variable, JavaScript is not treating this and this as the same variable because of variable shadowing. I'm explaining you this because you should understand that with the ES6 features, let and const are, block scoped variables. So, meaning that if you declare a variable with the keyword let globally, then you should not reassign a value inside a function to the same global variable. Okay, because that would be pretty bad. Why you want to manage or change some global variable inside a function? That's very bad behavior. The second thing is that if you want to use a variable here, you declare it here. Okay, you want to use inside the function, that's a block scope. So you should declare here and not anywhere here in the global. So your function will be a standalone function which does not interfere or does not change any global variable. That's I'm trying to explain you. So we talked about variable hosting, we talked about the scope of the variable and the variable shadowing. Now we're going to talk about the data types. Okay, so we saw this thing: string, numbers, Boolean as well, true or false. We're going to talk about these variables and data types in more detail. Okay, first one first. First thing first, number. What is a number? It could be anything, any positive number, any positive number, like let num 3 is equal to any number. Let's say 25. Let num 4. Any negative number like 22. Okay, these are called integers. This is a positive integer. This is a negative integer. Okay, there are some other numbers as well, which we call the number with the decimal values, like this: 22.50 with a decimal point. Um, in most of the programming languages, it's called floating point integers or floats in general. Okay, so these are integers. This is a positive integer, this is a negative integer, this is a floating point number, floats, you could say. Okay, these are all numbers. And now we talk about string. In This is not in detail, we talk about more how to convert the string to a number. There are some reserved keywords, methods, inbuilt um, functions which we could use. We talked about it in a moment. We will talk about it in a moment. Okay. Light. Um, so string. We saw it. We could use double quote or single quote we're going to see something new. Okay. Now let summary. Okay. Not single quote, not with double quotes. We could use it, but we're gonna try something new, which is called a backtick. Okay. In your keyboard, you will see where you see the tilde sign, like this sign, before the number keyboard one, below the escape keyword. The same key, if you use, um, you will see a backtick. Okay. It's opening and closing backtick. Within the backtick, you could use any um any string. Okay. So like I am a string too. Okay. Okay. Like this. And there is one more important use of it. Okay. You could use any dynamic value here. You could use this variable here, and I will show you how. Okay. And I could embed, I could use any dynamic values like, and we'll see here how we use it. Okay. So start with the dollar sign, then there are curly braces, and then any variable, any valid variable, it says expression expected. So you could use like 1 plus 2. That is also valid. Let's see the value of this. Okay. Got long. Summary. Oh, and let's see what it prints. I am a string 2 and I could use any dynamic value like 3. Where did this 3 come from? 1 plus 2 is 3. Okay. So any valid expression you could use here, or you could use a variable. I'm going to use num5. 5. Let's see. See, 22.5. This value. Okay. So that's the use of it. Um, as I said earlier, there's some features, some reserve keywords, some inbuilt functions. Um, they are very useful when you program something, and when you wanna dynamically show some value, you wanna tweak your code a little bit, make some logic in your code. This thing really helps. Okay. So this is the use, one of the use of this string literal. That's what it called. So this is a valid string literal. Okay. So we talked about numbers, we talked about string. Let's talk about Boolean values. Okay. On the data type, Boolean. So it could either be or true or false, or truthy or falsy. I will tell you what's the difference between true value, truthy value. Okay. So let is admin. Oh, admin true. Have we ever is admin? No, we have not used this variable anywhere. Okay. Let is admin be true. It says let is admin. It automatically shows what based on this, what we have assigned. It shows the data type. If you don't do it, it is not going to show anything. Okay. You see, you hover it, it says any value, because you have not assigned it. How the ID would know the data type if you won't assign anything? So if you assign true or false, it's gonna say it's a Boolean value. Okay. You could later on change it and make it is admin false, like this, or we'll use other variable. Let is logged in and make it false. Okay. This is also Boolean value, true or false. So we are going to talk about truthy and falsy value. What is it? Okay. So in JavaScript, there are some values which is treated true or truthy value or falsy value, like an empty string, like string like this. Uh, let's give the name one, and it's if you see, it's an empty string, so it's a falsy value. Okay, if you write anything in between, it becomes a truthy value. Okay, and you could test it because zero is a value as well. Let me see here. If one is a falsy value, this code is not going to execute ever. Okay. Hi there. Let's see. You will not say it because this is an empty string. If you'll see one, let's see. Hi there, because it's this is truthy value. Okay, this is one. This is not true or false that we have assigned. This becomes a truthy value. One is a truthy value. Zero is a falsy value. If you'll see else. So this is an if else statement that we have not talked anything about, but it's pretty simple. There's a condition if, and there is a block. Okay, if some condition is true, so here we need expression, expression expected, any valid expression which could either yield true, false, or a truthy value or a falsy value. Okay, so as I see, one is a truthy value. If we'll give zero, that becomes a falsy value. Okay, so I explained um, basic truthy and falsy value. We talk about this in detail in the upcoming videos. Okay, so Boolean, string, number that we talked about. We already talked about undefined. When we get undefined, there is one more value, which is let is admin be null. No, it cannot be null. We are not. We are why we are using let again. I don't get it. So we set it to null. Then let's log this. Okay, log is admin. Now we'll see what we see. It's null because we if it is a data container, it holds a true value. We vacate it. We make it null. Okay, this is a data type as well. Okay, there is one more data type which is big int for big numbers, numbers beyond the calculations, huge numbers. Um, comes under big int. There is one more which is called symbol that we are not going to discuss here in this video because this is for very basic. Um, so we talked about string, we talked about this, and we also talked about some operators like the plus operator. Okay, so if I were to multiply this, I will use the asterisk sign, the star mark, the asterisk sign, whatever it's called. So the result becomes multiplication of these two numbers. If I were to divide these two numbers, I had to use this character, which is in the keyboard. It's divide character. If I have to minus num1 and num2, here you will use these characters. These are some arithmetic Operators. This is assignment operator. Okay. So we talked about few operators here. We're going to talk about operators and reserve keyword in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this video. You got some information about variables, their default behavior, like I talked about hoisting and variable sharing, when we use let, when we use const, how we store the data in variables. Okay. It is not necessary, as you see, only to hard code the values. You could use variables as well, like I use this, and these two values are stored here in this. So you could use any valid variable here to assign a value to the variable result. Okay, that's we discussed. We talked about the true and false, which is Boolean values, truthy and falsy values. Okay, so and yes, we talked pretty much everything about variables and few data types. We're going to talk operators. Okay, we are going to talk more on function. What other type of function that we use? There is arrow function as well. There are anonymous functions, functions used in the inside a function, function used inside objects. Uh, so we're going to talk in detail everything about JavaScript and their features in the next video. Please mention in the comment if I miss anything here regarding variable and data types. I will make sure that I will upload more videos, more engaging content, and more information. Till the time, happy learning. Thank you.